Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, it's great news for Pakistan. Pakistan A have beaten India A in the final of the ACC Emerging Cup and they've been crowned champions. It was an interesting encounter and we had some excellent partnerships, including the start from Saim Ayub and Saibzada Farhan. Unfortunately, Saim departed after scoring his half century. We talk about Saibzada Farhan. He continued the charge and he was looking all set to get his 100 when he got that unfortunate run out. But then came in Tayyab Tahir, and although wickets were falling on the other end, he made sure that he held the innings together and also accelerated it at the same time as well. And he did very well. He, along with Mubassir Khan, put up a great partnership, and both of them were able to get Pakistan over the mark of 300 runs and then eventually getting to 350. Tayyab Tahir scoring a century in this cause as well. But then when it came to bowling, Pakistan was superb. 350 runs on the board. You talk about all of these bowlers. Arshad Iqbal was excellent. Wasim Jr., Mubassir Khan, Sufyan Muqeem was brilliant with the ball. And I think the captaincy of Haris is also something to appreciate because he really had his head in the game. He was talking to the bowlers after every delivery, trying to tell them to, turn the ball away from the right-handers, not bring it in because of the way India did have their moments as well. They smashed a couple of boundaries at the same time. Occasionally the ball went out of the park as well, but that partnership that was needed in between wasn't there. But that means that the defending champions Pakistan once again are champions of the ACC Emerging Asia Cup 2023, and they've got all the right to celebrate. After that they went back to the hotel, met the Pakistan senior team as well that is also there, who are playing a test match. And let's talk about that test match now. In the second test match, Pakistan have been absolutely superb. They've bowled out Sri Lanka for 166 runs in the first inning. Naseem Shah and Abrar have been brilliant with the ball. Pakistan's batting is so far underway. It was a good morning session for Pakistan. I think they did very well, and bowling out Sri Lanka on 166 is one thing. But if you look at the overall test match perspective, if you talk about the first test match as well, and then you talk about the second one, Pakistan really need to back this one because there are crucial points for ICC World Test Championship that we need to get. And, courtesy of what's been happening in the past, we tend to win a test match and then draw the series. We don't want that. Pakistan so far, 145 for 3. Live action is underway. You can catch it on BTV Sports. And you've got Babar Azam, who is at the crease right now. Shan Masood scored 51. Abdullah Shafiq 74. Imamul Haq 6. And, of course, Babar Azam will now be joined by Saud Shakil. So we'll talk a bit about that in detail, and then we move on to the World Junior Squash Championship, where Pakistan's Hamza Khan has been crowned the champion. He received glory. Pakistan won the World Junior Squash Championship title after 37 years. So it's a big achievement, and I think not just Hamza, but the entire team that was involved with Hamza, his coaches, his trainers, everybody deserve a lot of appreciation. This is a young boy who's number 3 when it comes to the junior rankings. Is certainly making a mark for himself and for Pakistan squash around the world. You need to restore that glory, and the youth is the best option. Then, of course, we move on to football. A perfect MLS debut for Lionel Messi. His free kick goal did the victory for Inter Miami. Al Hilal also have submitted a world record bid for Kylian Mbappe. Former players are urging, transfers from Saudi Arabia. People are not happy that this is happening, but the new center of attention is Saudi Arabia when it comes to sports. So we'll be talking all about that. Time now to start off our segment with cricket and introducing our guest. First of all, making a comeback. It's like those WWE moments, isn't it, when somebody makes a comeback in the Royal Rumble. But he's finally back. This time we've got him in studios, my fellow anchor, also a cricket expert as well. One of the few individuals who really loves the history of cricket, at the same time follows what's been happening at the present as well. Joining us back once again is Ali Gohar. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam, everybody. It's great to be back. Thank you for that very kind introduction, Ahmed.
Well, it's a great moment. I think Pakistan's winning all over. You returning back to studios. Everything is it's like a Christmas moment for
Not many
Christmas
people
miracle.
think I'm a good luck charm, but thank you for that, Ahmed.
Well, for me, you've always been. So great to have you back. Also joining us is somebody who really takes cricket seriously as well. He's had his share of playing cricket at crucial places, I must say, and he's a good enough cricketer as he is a cricket expert and analyst. I will be talking to him as well in detail about the entire cause of cricket. Rizwan Haider joins us. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on the show. Now, Ali, this Emerging Asia Cup, obviously with so much happening as far as the major Asia Cup and its hosting was concerned, but there was still enough focus over here as well, and these boys in green have really done us proud. It was a great competition overall. Many of the sides had experience. I don't like people calling Pakistan with the only experienced side, but it's great to have a victory in the bag.
This is a special victory, not just because we've beaten India in a final. It shows, I mean, to outbat an India A team is no joke. And it was the manner in which it was done, Ahmed, was very impressive and very unlike Pakistan. As you said in your introduction, they got off to a good start courtesy the openers Farhan and Ayub. And then they lost their way a little bit. India came back in the game. They had their moment. They picked up 2 wickets in quick succession. Their spinners managed to pull things back. And then Tayyab Tahir, it was the Tayyab Tahir show, who was absolutely superb. And what I liked most about that partnership between him and Khan was that they weren't overly watchful. They chose to resurrect the innings by not grinding and grafting. They decided to attack. And that's very rare for a Pakistan team when they're in trouble to attack in when the choke is on and during the middle overs. So that was the most impressive part of that partnership. And Tahir, I mean, the way he was playing India's spin bowlers was very impressive. He picks length very early. He plays well on both sides of the wicket. He hit a couple of lovely slog sweeps, and then he also managed to go inside out. So I really, really liked their approach because it was refreshing. Again, something you don't normally associate with a Pakistani team, especially when they're in trouble. And I hope this approach carries on. And we're actually seeing that in this test match as well against Sri Lanka. So we're in good health.
We are. I think that's a very interesting point. Rizwan, particularly this spin bowling, I don't know why it becomes such a burden for us that we see this happening. Once again, I saw Pakistan's wickets crumbling to spin, especially when they lost the wicket of Sahibzada Farhan after that run out. Then immediately we had 2-3 wickets falling down to spin bowling. They were again trying to play across the line, including the skipper Mohammad Haris, who I thought should have batted through. But thank God Tayyab Tahir managed to keep his head in the game.
I think the main reason for that would be because of the positive start that we had, 100 plus, both openers getting 50s. There was a moment when Pakistan probably thought that they need to pick up the scoring and get, quick runs. And that's the reason that they messed up, 3 quick wickets. But then again, Tayyab Tahir came back beautifully. He knew when to attack. He knew when to defend. He maneuvered the innings very well. And, credit should also be given to him for playing the lower middle order, Mubassir. He guided Mubassir to support him, even Mohammad Wasim Jr. and all the others who came in, chipped in with 20s and 30s and Mubassir with the 40. But to get 350 runs, the match was finished there and then with the experienced Indian team as well. Of course, they didn't have any international experience, but that was within the rules. India can't blame Pakistan that we had more international players because the same Indian team beat Pakistan in the group stages. First of all, and number two, whatever we had, it was within the frame of the rules that were defined, and who you can have in the ACC emerging team and who you can't. So Pakistan played according to rule. India could have done the same.
I mean, the difference was only that we had 3 guys who had played over 40 list A games, and they had still 2. So that was the only visible difference. But like you said, that shouldn't be something that needs to be taken into consideration. All of these teams, including Sri Lanka, had the necessary experience in this tournament.
Of course.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That some of these guys have played brilliant cricket, especially if you talk about Rana from India. He was a superb bowler and a batter at the same time. Reminds you, when he was batting, reminds you a bit of like Yuvraj Singh is trying to play, although he's a right-hander. But then again, that aura of that batting was still there. And he bowled really well as well. He's bowling quick, bowling short. So India need a couple of all-rounders like this as well. Initially, if you talk about the current scenario, they've had Hardik Pandya, but a great all-rounder in the making for India as well. So you've got to appreciate that. But Ali Gauhar, I think the major aspect now should be that, we've got a bench strength that can replace any member of the senior team whenever required. I think that should be the main focus right now.
And batting bench strength, again, something that we've struggled with in the past. You've had a battery of fast bowlers who are always ready to take a senior bowler's place, and more often than not, they've managed to adapt quite quickly. But to have middle order batters who are not knocking on the door now, but slamming the door down like Tayyab Tahir, and the World Cup's around the corner, and Pakistan need a middle order batter who bats with aggression. Again, that's the order of the day now. I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. A Pakistan team at 160 for 4 or 5 would usually go into their shell.
Yeah. 220s.
Tahir decided not to do that. He decided to take the attack to the opposition. And you need a batter like that. Go back to the 2019 World Cup, that defining innings that Haris Sohail played against the South Africans, his 89, if I remember correctly, was the difference. You need a batter like that who's willing to take the game by the scruff of the neck and not afraid of failure. And moreover, Tahir, and you're playing in India, remember, Tahir is a very good player of spin bowling.
Yeah.
We saw that in the PSL and we saw it in yesterday's game. And then when you talk about the openers, Farhan has been around the Pakistan squad for a while, but Saim Ayub is a tremendous talent, as is Mohammad Haris. So it's good to see that Pakistan have 50 over options.
That's very interesting, because 50 overs cricket is something that would be the prime focus right now, considering that there's a World Cup coming this year as well. And it's great to see, because you know that missing element still, one of the reasons why I think India probably couldn't make it through this game was the fact that they were not able to bat through, and you know they played some needless shots in between, kept on losing wickets. I think 4 to 5 of their wickets fell at quick successions, all of them trying to play a shot down the ground or hitting it for a 6. Meanwhile, I think if they could have nudged the ball, they were 114 something, they would have been able to take themselves to a very commanding position in the last 10 overs. But that didn't happen. That being said, congratulations to this Pakistan emerging side and also to their management as well. Their coach did mention that we really wanted this game, and I think they've done the nation proud. So congratulations to the Pakistan Cricket Board, to all you cricket fans out there as well, and everybody involved. Now we take your focus to the second test match between Pakistan and Sri Lanka in Colombo. Pakistan have been brilliant. They bowled out Sri Lanka for 166. Their batting is underway. We've got the skipper Babar Azam at the crease now. Pakistan have so far lost 3 wickets when we last checked the score. You can catch all the action on PTV Sports, live that is, uninterrupted. So Rizwan, a good session for Pakistan. They were able to bowl out their opposition, but equally they've batted well so far.
I think credit to Pakistan for over the last 10 days or 7 days, because they played the first test match very well, and the bowling has been very good as a unit. The batting, I think I see just one flaw in the batting lineup. The 3 top order batsmen that we have, Babar is coming at 4. It's good that Imam came back in form in the last test match. As you can see, you know, he hasn't performed abroad. He has played well in Pakistan in the home series, but he has an average of about 22, 23 in abroad test matches. So him getting 50 not out, guiding the team to a victory was good. Secondly, Abdullah Shafiq had a brilliant start to his test career, but then, you know, he faded back a bit. For the last 1 year or so, he started, he was getting 20s and 30s, but getting out. So him getting runs is good. But the biggest problem I see is Shan Masood. Because I personally think he has some sort of an identity crisis. He came into the team in the T20 series versus England before the World Cup, and everyone thought, you know, he's played well in the English county cricket, what a talent he is. But we realized after seeing him play in T20 cricket that he's probably very talented but better suited to one-day international
To the longer format, yes.
But similarly, when he played one-day international cricket, we realized, yes, he's got the talent, but he's probably, you know, suited more to the test match cricket. And now when he's playing test match cricket, he's scoring at, you know, a strike rate of T20. So he needs to realize, he needs to understand, you know, that he needs to play the correct format in the correct manner. That's the reason he's not getting big innings. He's getting starts, but he keeps getting out. So he needs to focus on that.
Well, certainly 145 for 2. That review was obviously something that worked for Pakistan. So Abdullah Shafiq is still at the crease. But this, you know, role defining, even Shan Masood after the first test match, you know, in a presser said that we decided that we're going to take the attack to the opposition. One of my role, you know, that was one of the roles that was given to me was to play attacking cricket. So whether it's the management or the individual himself who needs to make a decision in something that will always be skeptical in this form of cricket, and especially how test cricket is evolving. Ali, 166 all out. If somebody would have told me Pakistan can do it today, I wouldn't have brought that, but I'm happy that it's happened.
Well, as a Pakistani fan, of course, we're all happy about it, and Pakistan did bowl well. I mean, Naseem Shah is brilliant. He's an excellent corridor bowler. He gets the ball to move both ways, and he can reverse swing the ball on a length. Usually you see Pakistani bowlers bowling, when the ball is reversing, they like to go full, but Naseem is more back of a length, and he's excellent, as is Shaheen Shah Afridi, who runs in, and Abrar is also growing day by day. But Sri Lanka were poor. I'm not saying that Pakistan bowled badly. They bowled very well, but the Sri Lankans gave it away. So they need to face up to their mistakes. Those 2 run-outs were ridiculous. It was unacceptable. And for a player like Dhananjaya, I think Dhananjaya, if you just talk about talent, if he applies himself, he can be right up there with Steven Smith, Marnus Labuschagne, and Joe Root, and Virat Kohli. That's how talented Dhananjaya is. But to give away his wicket like that, holding out at deep mid wicket during a crucial passage of play, I'm all for aggressive cricket, which we'll get back to, and I'm glad Pakistan's approach has changed. Clearly, the management has told them to be more aggressive. So I'm all for that. But during that passage of play, Dhananjaya needed to rein himself in. So I was very disappointed with the way he got out, with the way Chandimal got out. There was a clear plan for Naseem Shah to come around the wicket and bounce him out. And Chandimal, I mean, he's very, very experienced. He's played a lot of international cricket. So I think Sri Lanka really need to focus a lot more. And they're not switched on. I mean, we saw Abdullah Shafiq, he was dropped by Jayasuriya. It was quite an easy return catch for Jayasuriya, but again, you could tell they just weren't switched on. So I'm very disappointed with the Sri Lankans because they have the talent to...
Two certain things I'd like you to comment on, Ali. First of all, do you think that dependency has still not moved on from the likes of Matthews and Chandimal? You know, somewhat that dependency is still on that experience to get them
Ahmed,
over
you know,
the
I
line.
don't even want to indulge this line of questioning, and you make a very fair point. But how often have we been saying this? I mean, Sangakkara retired ages ago, as did Mahela Jayawardena. Move on. And you've got the players to do it. And I'm saying this with because watching the Sri Lankans growing up as a kid, you know, Sana Jayasuriya and Aravinda De Silva, and then Kumar Sangakkara, who's one of the greats of the game, and then Jayawardena. I mean, the Sri Lankans need to understand, the batters especially need to understand their history. And a player like Dhananjaya has the talent to go very, very far. And when he gets out in this sort of way, holding out to mid-wicket, when there's a clear plan in place, is supremely disappointing.
Do you think they're missing out a very crucial element of some good fast bowlers as well? I know we've been focused on their spin department, but if you look at traditionally their history, they've had, you know, on and off, they've got good fast bowlers. Pervez Mahroof has been there. Dilara Fernando's worked for them. Then if you move on to the recent part, Dhamika Prasad, Lahiro Kumara, all of these bowlers have really, you know, done it for Sri Lanka, often with the new ball.
No, these guys are fine. I mean, the left armour, Madushka, and then the right armour, they're good bowlers. They're good bowlers. I don't really think it's about their fast bowling. Look, Ahmed, if you're bundled out for 166 on day one, I mean, there's only so much your bowlers and then the spinners like Jayasuriya can do. So I do feel for the bowlers, and I think this crop of fast bowlers that the Sri Lankans have are just fine. They need to keep working. They haven't done badly because, again, look, if your batting side gets out cheaply on a flat deck, there's only so much you can do, right?
Absolutely. Rizwan, Sri Lanka, you know, traditionally you feel sorry because they're one of the few players I see who are adjustable across formats. T20 cricket, one-day cricket, test match. They're a brilliant side and they've got some phenomenal talent from, you know, the new crop that comes in for cricket. But somewhat in between is still, you know, that game awareness. That's just, and these were their home conditions.
You've used the right word,
yes, game awareness. Yes.
Yes, but I don't traditionally feel sorry for Sri Lanka. You know? I agree with Ali. They need people to, you know, look up to. Dhananjaya is a prime example. He should be the leading the pack. Chandimal, you know, you need to give something to the bowlers to support you. If you don't put runs on the board, what do you expect? You can't put 160 and expect to bowl the other team out for 120. That's not going to happen. You need it's test match cricket, and it's unforgivable if two of your batsmen get run out. You know, that's throwing your wicket away. You need to put down, you need to stay at the wicket. The runs will come automatically. If you can't be aggressive like England or Pakistan has been in this test match, then the other way is, you know, to play proper test match cricket. Stay at the wicket. There was nothing exceptional in the bowling. Shaheen was average today, I would think. Abrar has been switching on and off during the test series. Sometimes today he bowled well, but then again it was nothing exceptional that the bowlers couldn't handle. They were just getting too carried away. First day of the test match, you don't give 4 wickets to a spinner.
Traditionally,
you know?
yes.
So there are too many things that they need to work on. They need to understand. I agree that you know, when you said players across formats, you can only have 2 or 3 players who are exceptionally gifted who can play both test, one day and T20 cricket. You can't have
Otherwise
6 or 7 or 8 players who you think are good enough, because these are different games. Maybe test match and one day cricket it has some sort of resemblance, but T20 is a completely different game. You can't have players bowling, playing that. The other problem that I face, I find is different or difficult to comprehend is players are not playing enough first class cricket. For Pakistan, you've got 15 first class matches, and you get into the test team. 3 performance in T20 tournaments like PSL, and you get
And you're
into the
into-
international
yeah.
team. That's where England and Australia are doing well. Even India, they make sure that the players grind it out in first class cricket, then come into test match cricket. Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they're too much focused on T20 cricket, and that's the reason they're losing out on test match cricket.
It makes a really good argument, but then again, you expect better from Sri Lanka. Now, stumps have been drawn on day one, 145 for 2 Pakistan. They trail by 21 runs. Abdullah Shafiq is at the crease with 74, Babar Azam with 8. Pakistan look to be in a very commanding position. Sri Lanka tomorrow would have to do exceptionally well in the first session, but otherwise, if you think Pakistan can get a lead of 150, 200 runs, then this test match would be over very soon. Ali, now this school of thought, some trends are changing in world cricket, but what's your overall analysis when it comes to playing test cricket or handing a debut to someone? Do you think it's still important to see the necessary amount of first class games on the bag?
I think more often than not, it is important for players to play a considerable amount of first class cricket before you become an international cricketer, but sometimes there are just some exceptional talents, and that's where selectors come in. You expect your selectors to have an eye for talent, and if they've only played 10 or 15 first class games, then I think exceptions can be made. Now, the approach that Pakistan has adopted, I'm glad it's happening. I think Pakistan have turned a corner here. The way they played against England would have embarrassed them. Losing 3-0 at home was embarrassing, and they needed. I think they needed that jolt. So I think the management have told Babar Azam and co. to go out there and express themselves, a la England. They've taken a leaf out of England's book, and I think that's important because that's where the test match cricket is going. That's the direction it's heading in. So if Shan Masood is making 50 or 60 balls and gets out, I'm actually okay with that. Think about Zach Crawley. They showed the England selectors showed tremendous faith in Zach Crawley.
Tremendous patience because
But because-
Pakistanis were of the opinion to get him out of English test
because
cricket.
they knew he was capable of an innings like that, a match-winning innings. And when you do that once or twice, then you build, and then your
Right.
confidence.
I'll just
kicks in,
interrupt you.
right?
We'll go towards a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to this very special segment now on football, and in studios we've been joined by somebody who's an expert when you talk about sports leadership and ethics, a very old friend, somebody who's made his mark in football in Pakistan and around the world, Mr. Imad Khan. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, Imad?
I'm good, Ahmed. How are you?
I'm very well, great to have you on the show as well. Now, Imad, the talk of the town is not just what Messi's been doing as far as MLS is concerned, but also the center of football in the world is now moving to Saudi Arabia. What are your thoughts on these two particular topics?
I think Messi's signing for MLS is a huge thing because they are preparing and building up for the World Cup that is coming on in 2026. And I think that Ronaldo's signing for Saudi Arabia is also huge in the same manners because they are preparing a bid for the 2030 World Cup. And for following the steps of Cristiano, I think a lot of huge names have gone into the Saudi market, Saudi League this year. But the decision of Messi's going to MLS was a long way coming because we already knew that Beckham has his eyes on Messi's retirement in Inter Miami, and I think that Messi doesn't need to prove anything by going into European teams. His story is written in stars, and his debut says a lot about the stars that is written.
Why Saudi Arabia? Do you think it's just the money element, the financial aspect of it, or do you genuinely think that there is a future of football in that part of the world? Because obviously their vision, which they're implementing under the leadership of the kingdom, is not just particularly football, but all sports.
I think Ahmed, Saudi Arabia is the next big thing in the sporting industry because they have they're putting in huge amount of cash flows in the sports industry. They're taking over different sports. WWE has been affiliated with Saudi Arabia and a lot of other sports too. But I think generally in football, I myself as a sports manager and a sports leadership expert, I think that I want to be in Saudi Arabia in 3 to 4 years time just to make sure that I have a good amount of experience in a sports league that is developing and that would be a huge thing in the next 10 to 15 years.
So we can say that Kylian Mbappe would probably end up in Hilal because that's a record bid that has been
I am pretty sure because the ties between PSG and Kylian Mbappe are at an all-time low. And I think that what Al Hilal is offering is a 1-year deal with an option to go to Real Madrid in 2024, and the talks are that Kylian has already set a deal with Real Madrid to come in 2024, which will see him have a huge payday regardless of the money that Al Hilal is going to pay them.
Well, I think those huge sums of money are, how commercialized football is now, really mean a lot when it comes to football, regardless of the competition that is there. But on a final note, Imad, we've learned that you're starting something very special in Pakistan as well. Before we just wrap up the show, just a bit about this very special tournament that you started.
Yes, Ahmed, Baseline Football Club is my club that I founded. And now we're planning to organize a tournament in 10 different cities of Pakistan. There will be qualifying rounds in the 10 cities, and this tournament is in collaboration with Gilgit-Baltistan government, where the final round of the Champions League will be played.
Inshallah. Well, best of luck for that, and certainly all of you football fanatics can also join that. Imad, thank you very much for joining us on the show. That wraps it up. From me and the entire team of Sports Extra, it's goodbye for now.